Hello, my name is Hitendra Patel. I'm the Managing Director of the Global Innovation Management Institute. I'd like to welcome you and join our vision and our mission of the Institute. Our vision is to democratize innovation everywhere, in organizations like universities or corporations, in high schools, in governments. And the idea is to unleash that creativity across the globe. Our mission is much more simpler: to train 1 million people worldwide, certify them, and unleash their creativity and their problem-solving skills to target any problem on this planet. The Global Innovation Management Institute has got certifications for individuals, for corporations, as well as for the government. And the whole idea over here is through certifications, people have the right to practice innovation. Through certifications, we create a roadmap for how to get better and improve as we get level 1 certificate to level 2 to level 3. We are today working with the Dubai government, the Qatar government, across Colombia, in Brazil, in the United States, helping these institutes and these countries become better in terms of their innovation journeys. We're working with corporations, giving them roadmaps, how they can go from level 1 to level 2. And we're giving certificates to individuals as they go from level 1, 2, 3, and 4 in terms of how they can actually innovate themselves, how they can innovate in teams, and how they can innovate in a company.
We've worked with several innovation consultancies, and we found the GIMI methodology to be able to help us democratize innovation very quickly across large groups of people.
Curriculum isn't enough anymore. We need to really be finding ways to expand the school into the community and bring the communities into the school. And design thinking and the GIMI impact model is what's going to help do that. I think that we really need to start looking for authentic, experiential learning opportunities for our students. And this is a really great framework that teachers can use that makes it easy to do.
The value that we see being part of the GIMI program is that we can offer capability building for students, for professionals, for corporations, and that's really exciting to be able to create a language that can help everybody connect with what strategic innovation is.
Today we've got 25 countries who are partners of the Global Innovation Management Institute. We'd like to see all 195 plus countries becoming part of this institute. So we are looking for training partners across the globe. We're looking for university partners in every one of those countries so they can be part of our network. And we would like to see companies and corporations around the world all embracing the certification programs of GIMI. And as a result, we can target any problem and we can solve any problem. Join us on our mission through certificates to give people the right to practice and a roadmap of how to improve. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Hitendra Patel. I'm the Managing Director of IXL Center and the Global Innovation Management Institute. We have a weekly event called Global, it's a think tank, where we bring the best of ideas of where the world is going in terms of trends. So we can imagine what's next and what else. We get conversations in terms of innovation management, in terms of how we can do better, faster innovation to get bigger and bolder things. And then we learn about innovation going around in other parts of the world. Today, we've got a fantastic speaker, a good friend, a good colleague, GINBEE Go, from the Ayala Corporation. Her education is from the Harvard Business School. She has worked in a range of roles in banking and consumer banking. And I would like to welcome GINBEE. GINBEE, how are you? And thanks for coming on Valentine's Day.
No, thank you, Hitendra. It's a great opportunity to be able to share our story in BPI.
So BPI, for those who are not familiar, is the Bank of Philippine Islands, and it is under the umbrella of the Ayala Corporation. And GINBEE has been driving some amazing things about innovation. So let's ask GINBEE first. GINBEE, tell us a little bit about yourself. Sports, personal hobbies. What do you do for fun?
I handle the consumer bank in BPI, and that's basically supervising, overseeing about 868 branches nationwide, managing 11 million retail clients, handling and managing the deposits, bank assurance, auto loans, housing loans or mortgage, and also the platforms, the consumer platforms. So I'm happy to be here and share how we have been able to innovate through the years. And I'd like to thank GIMI, of course, for our innovation awards. And thank you so much, HP, for having me.
Of course, GINBEE. GINBEE, something personal about yourself, something that you do personally, something that you're proud of, just so we can humanize you. Besides being a great business leader, you're also a great human being. So tell us something more about yourself.
I've been with the bank for 20 years, but I've been married for 26 years, much longer. I've met my husband in college. We have two beautiful kids, boy and a girl. They're both graduating. One's graduating from university, and another one's graduating from high school. So getting old. In my spare time, I love to. I'm into rhythm boxing and rhythm cycling these days. I used to do running in the morning, but as you age, your knees can't take it anymore. And I found I have newfound interest in indoor cycling.
Yeah, so I don't believe you're under 26 years of marriage and being not youthful. Doesn't look like that at all. You look very youthful. But GINBEE, we have an audience who's excited to listen to you speak today. They're coming from all over the world. And I think the topic you're talking about is one of the most difficult ones, where how do you a bank which has been around for so long, and with each generation of new technologies and changing consumer market demands and everything else, you've stayed relevant. And so you are an incredible story. And I think everybody who's listening in, this is the story of some of the biggest unicorns that you have never heard of, perhaps. Some of the amazing things that are going on that you should be thinking about doing in your own country. And so with that, GINBEE, I'm going to say, I think your format is going to be, you're going to share a video with us about the history of BPI a little bit, and then going to do a presentation. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, Sandra, and thank you again. I'm happy to be here. I have colleagues in the call who will help me through the presentation. And we'll start off with our own history video, which will tell you also about the history of the Philippines and the many things that have happened in the 172 years. Go ahead, Topher.
Okay, please ping me if you don't hear any audio.
Okay. No audio, Topher.
BPI is the country's pioneering bank with a history that spans 170 years. Its story begins in the 19th century, when the Philippine Islands were under the governance of the Spanish Crown. In those days, Manila was a port city bustling with trade, with 50 ships sailing in and out every week. In 1851, Spain approved the establishment of the Banco Español Filipino de Isabel II. Named after Queen Isabel II of Spain, the bank was the first government bank in the Philippines and what will eventually become BPI. It played a unique role in the early economic history of the country by performing many functions that essentially made it the country's central bank. Various political and economic shifts in and outside the country would alter the bank's personality through the years. In 1869, the bank would change its name to Banco Español Filipino. The opening of the Suez Canal bolstered trade in the Philippines, strengthening the merchant class and increasing the need for banking services. The bank would broaden its network and establish relationships with foreign banks, allowing its clients to conduct transactions abroad. As a government bank, the Banco Español Filipino funded many projects for public benefit. From city markets, hospitals, and public transport, the bank has contributed greatly to the development of Manila's public life. By 1892, The bank established its head office at number 4 Plaza Cervantes in Binondo. This same site saw the bank through its centennial year, lasting until the 1970s. Manila saw rapid modernization. It benefited from electricity and telephone lines, which the bank embraced to improve its operations. In 1896, the Philippine Revolution erupted. War disrupted the flow of commerce. The country faced a shortage of currency and a tight credit situation. Despite this, the bank exhibited a deft hand in crisis management. It soon established its second branch in Iloilo, laying the foundation for an interlinked system of provincial branches. Because of all the fighting caused by the Philippine Revolution and the Spanish-American War, trade in Manila was effectively suspended, exhausting the bank's sources of funds. By the end of the year, Spain ceded the Philippines to the Americans, and the Banco Español Filipino lost its character as a Spanish public bank. Soon after, the Philippine-American War erupted and would last for 3 more years before the Americans established a civilian government in the country. Through the years of unrest, the bank maintained its corporate identity, name, and bylaws. The dawn of the 1900s saw the birth of the new banking and monetary system under the American regime, which regulated credit, currency, and coinage, and the entrance of foreign banks into the Philippines. The American regime granted the bank an opportunity to update its charter. The Banco Español Filipino became the Bank of the Philippine Islands. This revitalized the bank, and its operations flourished with more clients, more deposit accounts, and more international correspondence. In keeping with its changing status, the Bank of the Philippine Islands was abbreviated to BPI. Global politics affected local banking and the economy. While the Philippines was not directly involved in the First World War, the hostilities caused a steep rise in the local cost of living. BPI provided employees with bonuses to tide them over these hard years. The 1930s were a period of global unrest. BPI strove to operate as usual, drawing contingency plans should the Philippines get drawn into conflict. 2 years later, Japan would bomb Pearl Harbor and the Clark Airfield. War has come to the Pacific. The morning after the bombing, BPI saw a crowd gathered outside its central office as many clients were desperate to withdraw their money. In the face of the gathering storm, the bank was able to assist its customers in an orderly manner. The following year, the Japanese imperial forces entered Manila and took control of the city. One of their first proclamations was the use of Japanese war notes in place of local currency. Life was hard throughout the war. The Japanese gave preferential treatment to Japanese-operated banks in the Philippines. They also pressured local banks to periodically surrender their coffers. As the Japanese clamped down on dissidents, several BPI officials were arrested and tortured at Fort Santiago for suspicion of supporting guerrilla forces. Food became scarce. BPI ensured that all employees received enough food for their families, aside from their wages, during these dark times. As the Second World War came to a close, Manila would become one of the fiercest battlefields. Japanese soldiers were determined to destroy territories as they were pushed back. This included buildings in Plaza Cervantes. Grenades were thrown at BPI's central office and set on fire with kerosene, destroying the building completely. Fortunately, the vaults and all the valuables inside it were miraculously intact. The road to recovery would begin in 1946, when the Commonwealth government passed legislation for banking rehabilitation. In March 1946, BPI formally opened for business. 3 months later, the Philippines gained her independence from the United States. The country finally became a republic. These next few years brought relative stability to the Philippines. The central bank was established, along with the General Banking Act, which would become the cornerstone of modern banking in the country. In 1951, BPI celebrated its centennial year, marking a century of service in the Philippines. Through the country's challenges and triumphs, BPI has remained committed to the welfare of its employees and clients. BPI entered its second century with the vigor of ambition amid a resurgent economy. By the 1960s, Philippine exports were strong, rivaling volumes before the Japanese War. This time of prosperity gave BPI the opportunity to broaden its operations. By the end of 1965, BPI had 12 branches nationwide. 1966 brought a major change in the bank's ownership. The Ayala Corporation became the single largest shareholder of BPI. The 1970s brought a new period of turbulence and a sluggish economy. By now, the bank has had enough experience to weather political and social storms. Through crucial strategic decisions, BPI would become a stronger institution, ready to meet the challenges of a new era of banking. BPI set the industry's pace in adapting to technology. With the rollout of the Express Teller ATM and 24-hour banking capability, BPI introduced the country to an extensive online system and modern consumer convenience. It was important that bank employees had the requisite skills to operate this new technology. BPI provided its personnel with a means to grow, both personally and professionally. The 90s arrived with several natural and man-made calamities that challenged BPI's resilience. BPI endured and prevailed despite. At this time, Filipinos were buffeted by the Asian financial crisis, the collapse of Russia's economy, and the wildly volatile Philippine peso. But sound and prudent decision-making kept BPI at the top of its game. BPI's move to migrate services toward internet-based banking proved to be a boon at the beginning of the new millennium. Despite the Y2K hysteria, by the first quarter of 2000, BPI customers could now pay their bills online. BPI Express Online had become the most advanced full internet banking facility in the country. This was only the beginning of BPI's rapid innovation and adoption of the latest technologies to satisfy clients' modern banking needs. The bank continued to launch a diverse array of products and services that helped Filipinos embrace digital banking. BPI envisions a future where every Filipino is empowered and has access to financial services. Since 1851, and through the many ups and downs of history, BPI has put the interest of its clients and employees at the heart of its service. No matter what the future brings, BPI will continue to carry its proud heritage of financial prudence, excellence, and innovation to help realize its vision of building a better Philippines. We are BPI.
Thank you. As you have seen in the video, BPI's history is very much intertwined with the Philippines' history, surviving wars, socio-political turmoil, natural disasters, economic crisis, and the pandemic. Through all these, we have introduced many pioneering products and services that made lives better and contributed to nation building. During the early years of BPI, we played the role of the central bank printing money for the country. During wartime, we continued to serve against all odds. And come peacetime, we funded the country's many firsts: infrastructure, transportation, telecommunications, public market, hospitals, and many more. We continue to carry out this role with pride throughout the century with Y2K, the Asian and global financial crisis, and of course, recently the COVID pandemic. All of BPI's presidents have actually served as presidents of the Bankers Association of the Philippines, ensuring the health of the entire Philippine banking industry. So, how could we have survived and, more than that, thrived? How does a 172-year-old institution like BPI remain relevant? It stems from a purpose that goes beyond profitability or even return on equity. In fact, nowhere in our purpose will you find these words. When your vision is unwavering, showing deep commitment, manifested in the organization's actions, then it is very much embedded in the institution's DNA. It becomes both culture and identity. After all, we are the Bank of the Philippine Islands and we serve the Filipino. For the mission to succeed, it must be built on solid foundation. Our values define how we will conduct ourselves, and every unibanker, as we call all employees, are held to these. The core values are fundamental to us, and in BPI, we call these the nice values. This means that we at the bank strive to be nurturing to our clients and fellow employees, that we act with integrity in everything we do, that we work toward becoming customer obsessed, doing all that we can to delight our clients, and that we aim to do these things excellently. We take this to heart, our purpose of building a better Philippines, one family, one community at a time, and the values that we hold dear. And our employees live these out. Guided by this purpose and values, BPI has remained in the everyday consciousness of Filipinos for over 100 years. In the Philippines, only a handful of companies and institutions have achieved that feat. In fact, there are only 8 for-profit companies that have survived over 100 years. 2 of these are BPI and Ayala Corporation. Ayala Corporation is our parent company. We are 2 of the oldest companies in the country. This year, BPI will turn 173 years this August, while Ayala is celebrating 190 years. When the average lifespan of an S&P 500 index company has come down from 32 years in 1965 to only 21 years in 2020 and projected to further come down to 17 years by 2030, institutions must be able to keep up with the rate of change lest they become extinct. Institutions need to guard against complacency, arrogance, and mediocrity, which lead to obsolescence and ultimately irrelevance. Let us look at specific examples of the most valuable companies in the US according to asset base or market capitalization. In 1917, the list was dominated by steel companies, accounting for over a third of total asset values. By 1967, only 2 of these companies remain in the top 10. And while that period was dominated by oil and gas companies accounting for close to a fourth, there was more diversity with tech, telco, film, and auto contributing about 15% each. But come 2017, you see a completely different list, with tech companies now significantly dominant with 36% market cap, followed by financial services at 13%. It is therefore no surprise that some of the most successful banks have embraced technology, aggressively digitalizing and competing with fintechs, as these tech companies are also entering the financial services space, particularly payments. So, how do we guard against disruption and future-proof an organization? First, we need to be adaptable while remaining true to our purpose and values. For BPI, technology has always been viewed favorably as an enabler to make banking transactions easier for customers. With a clarity of purpose and sharp focus on addressing customers' jobs to be done more conveniently, BPI has always been a first mover, the first to adopt new technologies, from project finance at the onset and printing of money in the early years to branch banking in the late 1800s with the opening of our Iloilo City branch in 1897, to electronic banking in the 1980s to late 1990s, enabling 24/7 banking with the introduction of ATMs and the Express Teller card, followed by phone banking service. At the turn of the century, with the advent of the World Wide Web and mobile telecommunications, we launched the country's first online banking and SMS-based mobile banking. After a decade, we made mobile banking easier with a mobile app. The bank's thirst for technology to make banking easier is insatiable. Other technologies we introduced included the first proprietary credit card, the branch queuing system, the chatbot, and more recently, the personal financial management embedded in the mobile app. The rate of technology adoption is accelerating, and we are certainly excited for the future with our pipeline of innovations that will soon see the light of day. Big data, data analytics, artificial intelligence, just to name a few. As we continuously innovate and evolve our products and services over the years, we realize that future-proofing an organization requires more than technology. More than technology to future-proof the bank, we need to keep our focus on our customers, make them happy, and be customer-obsessed. The bank's ability to transform with the times is driven by the bank's aspiration to serve Filipinos delightfully every day and help them achieve their dreams. You see, BPI is a product of mergers. In 1974 with People's Bank, in 1985 with Family Savings Bank, in 1995 with City Trust, in 2000 with Far East Bank, in 2002 with DBS, in 2005 with Prudential Bank, in 2020 with BPI Family Savings Bank, and this year with Robinsons Savings Bank. Imagine the diversity of talent and the magnitude of expertise contained in our 21,000 strong personnel located in 1,220 locations nationwide. The breadth and depth can be an advantage and disadvantage. We need to remain prudent yet agile. We need to be resilient yet innovative. We need to be cohesive yet empowering. Even more critical is our ability to unlock the power of our scale by making sure we are moving in the same direction. Digitalization is transforming the way people bank. In a McKinsey study, 75% of the Philippine workforce will be digital natives come 2030. All these components must transform to be able to serve a more digital customer. Thus, we embarked on what we call our digitalization journey, transforming our physical assets and digitalizing the bank. We have upgraded our digital channels and mobile and online platforms to be the best in class, getting better every day. Today, we have 7 online platforms serving different segments of the market. Today, we have 6.6 million clients enrolled in these channels, of which 4.4 are regular active users. While we sustain the double-digit growth in our digital transactions, we continue to see growth in our branch transactions, albeit at a slower rate. We have noted that customers still prefer to conduct high-value transactions at the branch. This is why we are transforming our branches from transactional to advisory centers, from chores to stores. We are digitalizing our branches and have already completed 22 digital branches where we have a concierge, a quick transact kiosk, meeting pods, and rooms equipped with virtual conferencing capabilities. We also have prime digital branches where we have a lounge for our high-value clients. In our first flagship branch, we have a marketplace area for clients to learn about the various financial solutions available for them. And we even have a Starbucks outlet inside the branch. BPI's digital approach provides customers with a seamless and comprehensive banking experience, allowing them to choose the channel that suits their preferences and needs. By integrating physical and digital elements, the bank delivers enhanced convenience, accessibility, and personalized services. We understand that branches remain to be important touchpoints today, but the role of the branches has changed, with trusted and expert advisory being primary and servicing transactions being secondary. This requires major upskilling and reskilling of the frontliners and clarity of career paths based on competency levels. While the branches take care of advisory and high-touch client transactions, the bank is relentless in its purpose and pursuit of greater financial inclusion. This is key to future-proofing the bank. The bank currently has 11 million clients, as I mentioned earlier, and we are aiming to raise that to 50 million by 2026. BPI is doubling down on achieving this goal through its microfinance arm Banco, whose mission is to provide access to easy, convenient, and affordable loan products to support the growing businesses of self-employed micro-entrepreneurs, or SEMEs, most of whom are in the provinces or outside Metro Manila. We have also introduced Vibe for Filipinos who want to do simple banking transactions, such as paying a merchant, paying bills, withdrawing cash, and sending money. Vibe is one of the products for the core mass market. Last year, we began our entry into the core mass market with more affordable products supported by our financial education series. We understand that banking is daunting for the core mass market, so many do not even try. But when we talk their language and make banking digestible, we can help them get on the road to financial wellness. And this is an example of it. Let's play the video.
Tama si Kuya Bodji. Magandang starting point sa pagbabudget ang 50-30-20 kasi hindi siya nakakabigla. Let's break it down. 50% para sa needs. Yan yung mga basic. Pagkain, kuryente, renta, cellphone load, pati rin wifi sa bahay. 30% naman para sa wants. Pasok dito yung mga gastos na pang-enjoy lang. Di mo din naman dapat dinideprive ang sarili mo dahil hard for your money. With this, mas magiging sustainable ang budgeting mo. At ang 20% savings. Mas maganda kung may hiwalay kang account tapos auto-debit na yung ipon mo every sweldo para di ka na matempt galawin. You can do this with a BPI savings account. Just open one through the BPI app. Madali lang.
Our partnership with GCash is also a key initiative in targeting this market. We also develop products that are not only more accessible, but also more affordable. From savings to insurance to investments, more Filipinos can now afford to secure and grow their wealth. More than that, we have also made it possible for more Filipinos to achieve their dreams. The Philippine government did a survey on how Filipinos define a comfortable life. The top answers are have enough savings for emergencies and sending their children to school, owning their own home, driving their own car, and managing their own business. Through our products, we are making these dreams more possible. Simplifying loan application, reducing down payment, and lowering monthly amortization. Future-proofing the organization does not stop at customer obsession, branch transformation, technology and digitalization, and affordable products. The success of an institution depends greatly on its employees. Every 2 years, we conduct an employee engagement survey to assess the level of engagement of our employees, particularly in areas of importance. In the last 4 years, we have seen significant improvement in how employees perceive the bank in terms of its customer focus, jumping by 26 points from 2017 and 2019 levels. The highest ratings pertain to the bank's understanding of customers and how empowered employees feel in responding to customers and looking for better ways to serve them. What is also interesting is the fact that employees now believe that we are more competitive in terms of quality of customer service. We have also seen material improvements in the areas of work tools and efficiency and organizational change and execution excellence. Key things to note here are that the employees now believe that the changes we have been undergoing can be sustained over time. And more importantly, that we are now able to quickly adapt to the changes in the industry. The real test is when the rubber meets the road. So we also asked our employees what they think of our ability to execute. We have seen substantial improvement in our ability to move quickly from idea to implementation. Highlighted in yellow are questions that relate to how innovative the organization is. There is a strong belief that we fare better than our competitors. How did we get to this point? It is with deliberate focus and initiatives to create a culture of delighting customers, designing and implementing interventions from idea to delivery to execution to measurement. The BPI Delight System is overseen by the Customer Delight Council, comprised of the more senior bank leaders plus the president, who walk the talk and show and share. This engine is gaining traction, and we have the momentum going for us to make more and more customers happy. As we continue to improve our present state, future-proofing the bank requires securing and improving the state of the Philippines' future. Because in BPI, building a better Philippines also means taking care of the future through our environmental, social, and governance ESG initiatives. Sustainability is critical to how we operate and how we engage with the communities we serve. we are committed to the UN SDG, or Sustainable Development Goals. From 35% in 2019, 53% of our loans are now funding projects that support various UN SDGs. You can see here only a few of the many sustainability initiatives the bank has embarked on. In 2021, BPI vowed to stop financing coal power projects. Today, our energy loan portfolio mix now comprises of 58% renewables, even as only 20% of the Philippines' energy requirement is generated by renewable energy. We pursue sustainable practices in our branches. To date, 11 BPI branches are IFC EDGE certified green. Just last week, we launched BPI Green Solutions, offering e-vehicle and solar panel financing, making it more affordable for more Filipinos to choose environment-friendly options. We also have a suite of peso share sustainable funds that is made affordable to allow investors to support sustainability while earning a decent return. To summarize, let us remember the A, B, C, D, E of staying relevant and future-proofing our organizations. First, we need to adapt. Adapt to pursue our purpose and to live out those values. Charles Darwin said the ones who survive are not the fittest, but the most adaptable to change. Second, we need to be better every day. Use technology smartly, enhance our products to better serve our customers' jobs to be done, and engage our employees. Inspired and empowered employees are key to the success of our transformation journey. Third, customer obsession is a mindset which requires constantly challenging the status quo. The rate of change is increasing, and customers can adapt faster than our organization can. Fourth, related to this, you need to develop your end-to-end delight engine that will ensure continuous improvement of the customer experience from design to delivery to execution to measurement. Transformational leadership is key for this to happen. Last, ESG spells for a sustainable future. Take care of Mother Earth, aspire for greater inclusion in society, and promote good governance. With these 5, we will build a better Philippines through innovation. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
GINBEE, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Stop the presentation and maybe we can have talking heads over here. Wow, what a long history. What a whole bunch of changes after changes after changes. And obviously a leadership team which is able to navigate all that transformation again and again. So first of all, well done. Congratulations. What a great presentation. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Tendra.
Jimmy, I was intrigued by the focus of the bank in terms of driving the changes. So let's focus on the UN goals. Let's focus on ESG. Let's focus on customer-centric. And you're driving everything from there. Where did that come from? That first of all, the North Star, that you're a relevant bank if you focus on those particular elements that are going to continue to make you a better bank. How did you guys choose that? How did that come about?
You know, Kendra, for the past 3 years, we have been extremely focused on making our customers happy. Our customers are our North Star because, as I mentioned, the rate of change in the industry and in other industries are increasing. The rate is increasing, and it's even faster than what many organizations can handle. Technology is enabling that. So if we do not cope with the changes in customers' jobs to be done, preferences, their needs, then we're not able to serve them. And they will look for companies or products that can serve them better. And that's how disruption happens.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how what we've been doing. And if you look at the history of BPI, the DNA is really consistent through the years, through the past 172 years. And that's really nation building, building a better Philippines. And who comprises the Philippines? It's the family, the Filipino, the communities we serve. And we're completely, deeply obsessed in doing that for a great number of years.
GINBEE, I'm going to jump around a little bit. So the fact that the world is changing quickly and everything went onto the cell phone very rapidly, and every young person knows how to use the phone, and they're expecting digital technology now. And then you have a bank which has been transitioning from legacy systems in the last century using COBOL and using all this hard infrastructure servers and all that kind of stuff. And now you want to put this on a phone, and it's, how did you guys move an organization from legacy systems into a cloud-based system and make sure that you kept your customers and continued maintaining trust that the changes were not going to suddenly make my money unsafe? So there's a whole bunch of things that you guys did over there. The first one is transitioning legacy systems to the 21st century, meaning cloud-based. And many people in your company, in the bank, were probably the legacy people who probably resisted the change to the new thing which is going on. So first that one, and then we'll double click into the next part of the questions.
You know, Hitendra, and that's why I think BPI has always been at the forefront of technology, of change. We have embraced that our role in the financial industry is to be the beacon of financial wellness and to always carry the torch when it comes to innovation and making Philippine banking world-class. And so it really is deeply rooted in the way that we work, the way that we think, and the way that we engage with each other and the communities we serve. The key here really is manpower talent, the talent of people in the bank. Technology is, you can buy technology anywhere. I mean, there are so many service providers, software, offering software as a service now. You can do that. Any bank, any organization can do that. But not all organizations will use these technologies the same way. And for us, as we had mentioned earlier, we need to be clear as to who we're serving, who our North Star is, and that would be our customers. It's not easy to really address everything that our customers demand of us. So we need to be able to prioritize. And we need to be able to act quickly and make decisions on certain things and pivot. That's why agility is key. And therefore, the mindset, the process, the systems that we have, the way that we engage with one another. In other words, it might be corny, but it really is teamwork. But it's teamwork that's disciplined and deliberate in the way that we do things. It is not easy, for example, and you're correct, for legacy people to immediately embrace it. But one of the things that we needed to do was to get buy-in of the people of our employees, that this is the way to go. That's why our purpose is always a very good unifying base to start with. And our focus, strategic focus on customer obsession is also key in moving people forward. And that's exactly what we did when we started talking about branch optimization and branch transformation. The biggest number of people in BPI is in the branches. and they're used to servicing transactions. Now we tell them, your role is going to change because you will do less servicing and more advisory. Imagine what that means. And we've asked them to actually migrate transactions and customers from branches to the digital. Then they should begin thinking, what will happen to my job, right? And we've been asked this question every time we have an investors conference. Isn't there some conflict with your branches and your platforms? And our response is none at all. And I believe it's because of the clarity of the customers we're serving, the direction that we're doing. And the thing with the direction that we're doing is it's digitalization. We are clear that there remains to be a role, a critical role for the branches, and it is meant to transform the branches, and it is meant to progress the bank, the customers, and also themselves. So it continues to make them grow as employees in their careers as bankers in the future.
GINBEE, great answer. I mean, it reminds me of Apple when they finally put the Apple Store out there. There was no need to have an Apple Store. You could buy the computer on the internet. But that interaction created trust, confidence, a relationship, whatever. And that's what the banks are providing. Let me go further. And I'm going to try and hit you with some hard questions because otherwise people will not be happy. Today we see telecom beginning to say, I've got 90% of the market share of human beings in any country. So telecom has achieved a market share. Banking in many countries like the Philippines and other countries are trying to get to a same sort of penetration number, hopefully on unbanking the bank, make those people join the banking system. And the phone companies have actually started becoming banks. And you have just inside Ayala, GCash as the example. Can you tell me how you guys see that as a partnership or a collaboration, or is it really a competition down the road if you were to look 20 years out?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Hitandra, our foray into the core mass market segment, a key initiative there is our partnership with GCash. Last year, 50% of the new-to-bank customers were acquired digitally. And a big number of those come from the GCash partnership.
Could you tell them what GCash is? Just make sure the audience knows what GCash is.
Yes, GCash is a wallet and also a platform for distribution. So it's a wallet because you can you can load money on it and then pay merchants, load your mobile phone, transfers to other people. And during the pandemic, GCash actually grew tremendously because people were working from home. Were staying at home. They didn't want to go outside because of the pandemic. GCash became a great partner, and as well as BPI, because we were the most digital bank among the local banks. And so it was, the partnership with GCash was a very tight, strong partnership, and we see a lot of collaborations. We actually have a BPI deposit product in GCash. It's called #MySaveUp. We also have a G-Insure. We are also part of G-Insure. Our mutual fund products are in GCash, being distributed by GCash. We also have our property and casualty insurance products in GCash. And so they carry many products. They are a distribution channel as well. Now, in the future, how will this all pan out? I really believe that customers will always look for affordability, accessibility, and convenience. There might come a point in time when the fintech wallet and the bank will eventually merge. Who knows? But right now, we also have our own e-wallet. We have Vibe, and it's growing as well rapidly. And so, to me, we welcome solutions, financing solutions, and it really is all for the good of the customer.
GINBEE, that's great. Let's go into your organization. You have a whole bunch of people looking at customer needs and problems, and then they become small teams and they execute into solutions that get implemented. Can you describe at BPI what are the types of initiatives that you guys do that somehow builds this, first of all, gets the results, ideas to commercialization, and then how do you guys drive that? Because I think everybody in the world is asking, how do you do this with people and process? Yeah.
Again, we start with, are there needs of the customers that we are not serving or we are not serving well enough? And that's how a lot of the ideas, innovation projects are come about. And as you know, last year during the Ayala Innovation Awards, which Vince led, BPI won all 3 awards. And that's really because we are very, very deliberate in the projects that we are going to develop. Each group is actually empowered to innovate. And I think that's very important. The ability to ideate, the ability to propel those projects because we have the means to do so. We either, if it's a very big project, we have to go through the process of approval for resources, and that goes through a prioritization at the Unibank level. But if it is a simple enough project that will not hog technology resources, every business head has the ability to move that forward. And that's exactly how it happened. Those 3 awards, it's a mix of Unibank, total bank innovation and group innovations.
Very good. GINBEE, what do you guys do to train your people to think about what's next, what else, to bring the problem up and let's solve this thing, so that every eye is looking for ways to make the bank better? How do you create that culture? How do you create that the space and the time for people to do this?
Our officership training program actually has a big portion of that on innovation, and we partner with the team of Vince. And I think for a time we had you, Hitandra, your organization as well. And so we are very big on partnerships with the Ayala Innovation team of Vince and Migu. And that's part of the officership training program. We also have our own training programs in-house that our employees can take. We actually we have a mandated training days of 5 days, and the supervisor and the employee will have to discuss the training needs of each employee. Again, we have a very good training program within the bank. And I think the biggest training ground is really the day-to-day. The ability to execute, to test and learn, to pivot and learn, and to understand and go out there and ask the customers, be in the front lines. In our BPI Delight system, every year we have an In the Kitchen program, and we also have time wherein all the officers will go out and talk to a customer, be in the branch or be at the contact center, to really stay attuned to the needs of our customers. So we have many interventions HP.
So, Jimmy, we're coming to the end of our session. It is Valentine's Day, but I wanted to make a couple of comments so everybody knows. If you were to watch the CEO of BPI, TG, for example, you'll see his Facebook post, and he's visiting every single branch, he's visiting every location, he's walking through and showing people that you can only learn by doing and by being in the market and seeing things. And so here's an organization which is really customer-centric, by even pretending to be a customer sometimes by going into a bank and seeing how the bank treats them, which is amazing. There's one thing about TG that I saw, and where GINBEE's organization is. The other part was their annual report. The annual report, and there was one about 2 or 3 years ago. They actually said on the cover of the annual report that we need to innovate or we'll get disrupted. That was a cover of the annual report. And inside that, they had essays written from different experts of innovation and basically insisting that we can't be complacent, we can't be stagnant, and we need to be the change of the change. And without a doubt, GINBEE, the story you're telling us is clearly there. So what I would like to do is maybe give you the last minute to say whatever you want to, and basically give guidance to those who are saying lessons from the leader, GINBEE Go, about how to drive customer-centric innovation in probably a stodgy institution called banking, where you got to be you got to be really trusted. You cannot take silly risk-taking innovations. It got to be very thoughtfully done. Keep the trust in place. It's your money, and yet be very relevant in the 21st century. GINBEE, you got the last minute to give us your insights.
Again, thank you, Hitendra, for this opportunity. I always reinforce to the team the importance of challenging the status quo. There is a saying in the Filipino language, hindi pwede ang pwede na, meaning mediocrity is not accepted. You have to keep challenging the status quo. In the banking industry, which is heavily regulated, with a lot of rules, with a lot of policies, and understandably so, because we take care of the other people's money, and trust is important. These rules, policies, regulations are important to making sure that we protect our customers' money. But it also can be a deterrent for innovation. And therefore, it is incumbent upon ourselves to keep challenging ourselves, disrupting ourselves, challenging the status quo, asking the why and why not, and allowing people space to think of ideas and to guide them through those ideas, get them to implement and pivot quickly. Now, are they going to fail? Sure, they may fail. But you have to be there to guide them through it. And you have to allow people to fail, but fail fast, fail quickly, then pivot. So keep challenging the status quo is what I always tell the team.
GINBEE, you are a gem. You volunteered to do this presentation on Valentine's Day. Want to wish you a really nice Valentine's evening. I hope you still have some more plans. And I just want to say you're invited back anytime to our think tank. And it's been a pleasure, and it's been an honor being working with you in the past. And we would like you to come back again to tell us about the next innovation out there. Thank you.